Hey everyone, my name is Esteban Parra, and I am a middle school band director in Cobb County, which is located in Mableton, Georgia. In this video, I'm going to share some of the big things that I've learned in my psychology course this semester and how I've applied these ideas of motivation and these theories directly into my band program. Just for a little bit of context, I teach more than 350 students at a Title I middle school, and as you can see, there's some of the facts about my school. I teach 3 grade levels from 6th grade to 8th grade, and we're a Title I, which means that most students receive free or reduced lunch and struggle financially. The demographics are split pretty even between the Hispanic Latino community and the African American community, with just a little bit of other races involved as well. A little bit about me is that I myself am Hispanic. I'm fluent in English and Spanish. I am a product of Mableton. My parents are immigrants, and I am a first-generation graduate from college. And I did go to school for free through band, I am a co-director, and my co-director is actually my former teacher, as well as the teachers that I work with at the high school level are also my former teachers. So it really is a full circle moment, and I'm just happy to get a chance to change the lives of the students. When I first started teaching, our program had around 150 students. Now we're at around 350 students, across all grade levels. And, for 6th grade alone, sometimes I have 80 students in one room, which is almost 3 times the amount that the average teacher may have. And one of the biggest challenges that I've always had has been getting students to practice their instruments at home and keeping them motivated with their instruments. Especially with 6th grade, you see the honeymoon stage of playing an instrument for the first time fades away pretty quickly when they realize how much work it takes to really make an instrument sound good. And so as the music gets harder, the motivation starts to drop, especially students who begin falling behind. And so the big question that I ask myself is, how do I motivate an entire band program of 350 students without slowing down the students who are quickly growing? Okay. And so I'll start off by talking about causal attribution theory. Now, this theory looks at how people explain their success and failures. So students usually look at their performance through 3 lenses. Locus. Was the reason inside of me or outside of me? Stability. Is this something that always stays the same, or can I change it? And controllability. Do I have any control over what happened? And so these are the 3 questions that really guide how the students think and ultimately how they behave. So students will sometimes say so often as, I'm not good at this, which is an example of something I hear all the time. Students say this when they feel like talent is something that is fixed. Like you're either born with it or you're not. And this is really an internal, stable, uncontrollable attribution. When students think this way, they stop trying. They don't see the point of practicing because they believe practice won't really make a difference, They feel like there's no more growing to do, that this is their peak. The thing I hear is, I already know the music, So sometimes I have a lot of advanced players, with so many kids, and they'll say, I don't practice because I already know the music. There's no point in me practicing. I'm already better than everybody else, which in theory may be true. But this is also a stable attribution, but it's the opposite direction of what we're going for. They assume because they're good that they're set for the future. And so I started using some of my top performers as examples. Even they still have more to learn. And so, for example, sometimes I'll make a student play a phrase that I know they know. So one, it gives them an opportunity to kind of show off in front of the class. And so I'll start by praising some of the things that they do well. Then I'll pick up that same instrument, of course not the one that they're using, but my personal one, and I'll play it at a certain level that they haven't reached yet. And I'll tell them, you're in a good place. This is where I want you to be. And it shows that student and the other students that there's so much more to learn. Even you, who's very advanced for where you are now, there's still so much more to do. Practice isn't just for beginners. Practice is something that even professionals do every day. Another thing that I hear often is, I'm too broke for band. And, it's funny because, you would think the student says that as a joke, but they're really not joking. There was a moment that stuck with me when a sixth grader said, my mom says I can't be in band because we're too broke to buy an instrument. This student believed the cause was completely out of their control. They really wanted to be in band. And they said that my family struggles and I don't even want to ask them for money because they're too stressed out about simply buying food. And it's something that I completely understand, and it's something that's out of the students' control. Another thing that I hear students say, I can't practice at home. And at first when I heard this, my first reaction is the students are just simply being lazy. They don't want to practice at home. It's not that they can't, it's that they don't want to. And so I believed this for a long time until I had a student come up to me one time and they told me the story about how they can't practice at home because their baby sister needs to sleep and their mom worked night shifts and needed the house to be quiet during the day, which is the only time they get a chance to practice. And this was really a wake-up call for me. Some kids aren't unmotivated. They generally don't have the chance to practice. So what I did was I created an optional morning rehearsal 3 days a week. These sessions gave students a safe, quiet place to practice and actually see their progress. I get a chance to walk around and help them individually and give them private lessons, which is something that costs lots of money that I do for free. Just to give the kids a chance, to be better, to compete with a lot of the people that have all the resources in the world and the other schools. And, morning rehearsals really gave me a chance to work one-on-one with kids and show them that their hard work is paying off and really show them how to be effective during their practice times. And so some of the turning points that I saw was that the students started to believe in what they can control, and everything started to change. They believe that if I practice, I can be better. They believe that if I did something good would happen. And that's when things started to change for the better. Their confidence started to grow. Students started volunteering to play by themselves in class and show the class what they practice at home. Students started taking their instruments home more often because they had a positive correlation to practice time and growing. And then they started to believe that their efforts actually mattered. That's when I realized something big, which was the problem was never really laziness. It was simply the students felt hopeless. The second theory I want to talk about is the expectancy value theory. This one made a big impact on me, and it really opened my eyes on how the students think. And so expectancy value theory really tells us that the motivation depends on two things, which is expectancy. Can I succeed at this? And value, is it worth my time and effort, which is really the big one here. And it really breaks down into 4 parts, which is attainment value. This is important to who I am, for an example. Intrinsic value, that could be said like, this is fun or interesting. Utility value, where the students question, will this help me later? And then cost, what do I have to sacrifice? Which I think is the biggest one. And so when I looked at my students through this lens, everything made more sense. So starting with attainment value. To build attainment value, I changed my classroom language. Instead of saying band students, sit up, I said musicians, show me your best posture. And it gives them an idea to think like a musician. What would a great musician do? What would a great musician sit? How would they play? How would they breathe? And so when you start to talk like that, you just show them and start getting into their head that they're not just kids, they're musicians. They're more than what they are showing currently. And I'll say things like, allow yourself to be a musician. You are already one. There's already one inside of you, but you're holding them back. And it really shows the kids that, a lot of the students will come to school with a perspective of, this is who I am, this is where I came from, this is who I'm going to be, which is not really the case. So my job is to help build the identity that I'm not just this person that the world tells me I need to be. I can be a musician, and I can be anybody I want to be. Second thing I'll talk about is intrinsic value. Now, intrinsic value is basically how fun or personally meaningful something is. So I looked at my repertoire band songs, and my first year, I really played a lot of songs that I thought were cool, things that I liked, but I realized quickly when I looked around the band class, it didn't really correlate to the other students. And so I started to change things up by, instead of playing only traditional pieces that I played in middle school and high school, I started changing things up by playing things that they liked, like Havana by Camila Cabello, or Moana from the Disney movie. I played Black Panther, I played Lion King, and these are songs that the kids loved, and they were motivated to play it. They were excited, they had a smile on their face, and it made them take their instruments home and practice, which was my ultimate goal anyway. And so it really boosted their enthusiasm and their confidence. And another thing I do is I redefined my student of the week. So before, my student of the weeks were based off of the best student of the week. I changed it, because with the band being so big, it's hard to recognize students for other things, not just being the best. So I did mine, I reframed it based off of growth. So the student that did the most growth that week was going to win. And this shows the students that it's not really about perfection. It's about growing and not being complacent. And so this helps me reward kids that don't really get the love and attention that, I would want them to get usually. And it helps me recognize students for different things, like learning certain measures of a song that they struggled with, or learning a song, a happy birthday song that they wanted to play for their family or something. Next thing is utility value. So utility value is kind of hard for middle schoolers. They really struggle to see long-term benefits of what they're doing today. So I fixed that by doing field trips to the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, where they get a chance to see professional musicians in the field that they're currently doing now. And I also got them to do 8th grade night with high school band, where they get to see what high school band life is like, and give them a chance to step foot into that life and see what it's going to be like next year, and just have them meet new friends and the people that they're going to be working with pretty soon. And it's just an awesome experience for them. And then lastly, with this theory is cost. And some students feel like the price to catch up is too high, or they're too far behind, and so they don't want to practice. They don't see a point. Others, have home situations that make practice difficult. So, of course, morning rehearsals help lower that cost. And malpractice wasn't something that was really stressful or impossible. It was actually achievable. It was doable, and it was right in front of you, a free resource. And so This helped me motivate the students that felt like there was no point. They were too far behind. There's no point in practicing because I'll never be able to catch up to Johnny. And, one thing that I tell the students all the time is hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And so I tell them that very often during class, and it helps give those kids a sense of hope that I may be here now, but I can be somewhere else tomorrow. Some of the things that's worked for me that I've talked about is, the band student of the weeks, focusing on growth. I give daily praises to students, from advanced players to struggling students. I provide economic support through fundraisers and sponsors. I give private lessons for free in the mornings. I give the students music that they love, that they want to practice. I provide challenging music for the advanced players, and I show them the bigger picture. Lastly, just some things that I've reflected over myself is, number one, to be more patient and understanding. This course has really helped me rethink the heart of motivation. Instead of asking, why aren't my students trying? I started asking, why? What do they believe about themselves, and how can I help change that? I'm still learning and growing as a teacher. I've only been teaching for 4 years, but in those 4 years, I've learned a lot. And my goal now is just to build that strong band family where the students believe in themselves. So yeah, thank you for watching. These series have helped me, and I can't wait to learn more of how I can help others. Not just in the classroom, learning music, but believe in themselves and what they can do outside of the classroom as well.